Yo, what is up everyone? My name is JettMDK, so welcome back to the episode of Inside the Lines. Hope you guys are having a good day. This is the second episode. Today I already posted one earlier in the morning. If you guys want to check it out, leave a card on the top right of your screen. But today's episode, we're just going to be focusing on one story in Formula 1. Honda has announced that it will be leaving the sport entirely at the end of the 2021 season, leaving Red Bull and AlphaTauri without any engine suppliers for 2022, at least at the moment. And this was a complete shock. Nobody expected this to happen, although at the same time, we had a feeling that at least something would happen between Red Bull, Honda, and F1 because of the fact that last year, Honda only signed a one-year deal with Red Bull for the 2020 season. So it was very odd to see Honda make that sort of an agreement. But when you actually take a look at the reason as to why Honda's leaving, it makes a lot more sense because while you could look at it at face value at first, why would Honda leave? They scored 5 victories with Red Bull. They won 2 races this season. You have to understand, Red Bull won the 70th anniversary Grand Prix with Max Verstappen at Silverstone. And then a few weeks ago, they won at Monza with AlphaTauri and Pierre Gasly. And Honda and Red Bull were really the only team that was able to compete with Mercedes. So why would they leave when they're now starting to catch up? They made impressive gains over the years. Why would they leave? Well, according to a statement from the president of Honda, Takahiro Hachigo, I probably butchered that name, and if so, I do apologize. He mentioned that Honda's decision to leave Formula 1 was to focus more on zero emissions technology. Now, I'm going to read bits and pieces from an ESPN article from Lawrence Edmiston. If you guys want to read the full article, leave a link in the description down below. But they explain as to one of the reasons as to why Honda was leaving. The first reason, number one, is the fact that it costs a lot of money to not only be in F1, but to stay and remain competitive in F1. And when you take a look at Honda and how bad they were when they came into the sport in 2015 to 2017 when they were with McLaren and Fernando Alonso and that whole fiasco with the GP2 engine in Suzuka 2015, they were really bad. Then they made the transition to Toro Rosso, and then the year later, in 2019, they went to Red Bull Racing and it looked like they were starting to get the ground rolling. But again, the main reason is to transform its resources and to focus more on zero emissions technology. The company is determined to become carbon neutral by 2050, but in order to do that, it has to set a preliminary goal of making 2/3 of its automotive productions electric by 2030. Despite developing electric vehicle technology since the late 1980s, Honda has fallen behind its production of full EVs compared to many of its competitors. And while it's heavily invested in hybrid and hydrogen fuel cell technology, in recent years, it only has recently added a full EV city car to its range. Takahiro Hachigo said in a news conference on Friday that for over 10 years we have been doing initiatives to reduce CO2. However, the auto industry is going through a once in a 100 years transformation. There is a high level of interest around the world, and the speed to get CO2 reduction is getting more and more important. We definitely have to accelerate the carbon neutrality path, so we have to enhance our energy management tech and fuel technology that we have built over the years with F1 and engineer resources to direct them towards environmental efforts. That is why we have reached this decision now. We want to aim for carbon neutrality by 2050, so that's what we want to put our resources into. And I'm not thinking about participating in Formula 1. But racing is in Honda's DNA. So for the races Honda is participating in currently, we will continue in that with the passion we currently have for those races. Now, I want to talk about that last part when we said that Honda is in racing is in Honda's DNA. That really made me think about the fact that while they might be leaving Formula 1, they might not be done with racing as a whole. If you take a look at a certain series that is all about electric, all about being environmentally friendly, you look at Formula E with new engine suppliers and manufacturers coming in like Audi, Porsche, Mercedes in recent years, and a whole lot of other more companies. Could possibly Honda maybe jump ship to Formula E? That's a real possibility. Obviously not this year. Not next year, I should say. But maybe down the line, we could see Honda in Formula E. If they want to remain competitive, if they want to still race, but do it in a way that is still good for their brand and still represents what they want to do for the future of their company, Formula E is the way to go, I feel like. But so now that we know that Honda, they're leaving F1 at the end of 2021, that leaves one huge question. What will Red Bull and AlphaTauri do? There is currently 3 engine suppliers in Formula 1. Renault, Mercedes, and Ferrari. Now let's take a look at first Mercedes. Obviously, I'm pretty sure any team would love to be partnered up with Mercedes as they are the most dominant team right now on the grid. but I don't think Mercedes would want to ally themselves with their biggest rival. Again, Red Bull has been the only team so far this season, in fact the last 2 or 3 seasons, to be really competitive and to put up a fight to Mercedes. So I don't think it would be in Mercedes' best interest to help a rival out, so that if they do give them help, Red Bull can just beat their butts on the race grid in the future. And on top of that, Mercedes is already supplying engines to 3 other teams: McLaren, Williams, and the new Aston Martin team next year. So let's just say Mercedes has got their plate full right now, and I don't think they have enough to supply for Red Bull. Now let's take a look at Ferrari. Ferrari and Red Bull do have history with each other. Red Bull got engine supply from Ferrari back in 2005, and Ferrari has helped Toro Rosso from 2007, I believe, until 2013. So there is a possibility that we could see a relationship reconnect there. However, when you take a look at how Ferrari has been in recent years, especially in 2020, I don't think Red Bull wants to align themselves with Ferrari just so that they can struggle to get out of Q3. And on top of that, Ferrari already has to help teams like Alfa Romeo and Haas F1. So they already got their plate full and they're not that good. So I don't think Red Bull will want to ally themselves with Ferrari, which leaves only one team, Renault. Now, you don't have to be a big F1 fan as long as you're in the sport, as long as you know the basic stuff. I think everyone can understand the toxic relationship from Renault and Red Bull. It's gotten so bad to the point where back in 2016, they nearly split entirely. They were able to come back together, but they ended their contract at the end of the 2018 season. But since then, there has been a lot of bad blood between the two. They have butted heads a lot since 2018. And no side has really been able to bury the hatchet between the two. However, this is a very interesting rule that from the FIA rulebook on Appendix 9 of the sports regulations that states, teams without a supply agreement shall be allocated to the power unit manufacturer that supplies the lowest number of teams. So again, remember, McLaren is going to Mercedes. They're leaving Renault, which leaves Renault without a single customer. Because of this, more than likely, we could potentially see Red Bull and Renault back together. I think really that's the only realistic option I could see. I can't see them going to Mercedes because they're the biggest rival and their plate's already full. I can't see Red Bull going to Ferrari because Ferrari's awful right now. Renault, it looks like to be the only option that they have. Now, a new engine supplier could come into Formula One. That could happen, but that is very, very unlikely, and I don't think Red Bull is going to bank on that. Red Bull could also supply their own engines, but I don't think they're in a capacity or in a state in their company that they would want to even consider that option. I really do believe that Renault is the only option for Red Bull in 2022. But we will ultimately have to wait and see. Again, Honda, they've got till 2021 to try and get more wins for the race team at Red Bull and AlphaTauri. But yeah, it's very disappointing to see Honda leave F1. They have been with the sport, I think, at the beginning since 1969. Left, I think, at the end of the 2006 season. Their last win as a constructor was in 2006, I believe. Came back in 2015, had that horrendous run at McLaren, and then they started to get the ball rolling when they went to Toro Rosso back then, and then Red Bull last year. And to see them leave again, it's disappointing to see. But it does raise a lot of eyeballs. It does raise a lot of questions as to what Red Bull and AlphaTauri does in 2022. I have a feeling it's Renault. That's the only logical option I see happening, but crazier things have happened to F1 where who knows? They could go to Mercedes, they could go to Ferrari, we never know, but I got my money on Red Bull going to Renault, but that's just my opinion. I now pass the question off to you guys. Where do you think Red Bull and AlphaTauri would go? Do you think they're going to go to Renault, Ferrari, Mercedes, or some other team? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. But until next time, man, it's JettMDK, and I'll see you guys next time.